Howdy there, people. It's Chris right here with.
Hey Oz, and today we're looking at more art because y'all really liked the last one.
Yep, so we are covering the years of 1901 to 19. Oh, excuse me. I got it wrong. 1911 to 1920.
There we go.
Yeah. So let me get to the change the browser because I have a lot of tabs open and I am just that guy. How it is
The
sometimes for
Tab
real.
Man, some people call you, Scyther.
Yes. You remember that one time I had literally 300 tabs open? That was a time. All right, let me change this,
I
bring
do
down the
not
blue
want to
marble,
talk about it.
and we'll turn off the slideshow. So,
Remember when I had my terrible old laptop and I once crashed my computer with 11 tabs while I was calling you?
yep, I will send you this. So, this is called
Yes.
Bringing Down Marble from Quarries to Carrara, I believe. So, this was made by John Singer Sargent, which is a part of the collection of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The painting depicts the major effort and grueling labor involved in manual quarrying of marble at the Carrara quarries in Tuscany, northern Italy. The scale of which is suggested by the difference in size of the men working at the opposite ends of a rope stretching diagonally, good lord, across the composition. The painting is not on view. I'm not surprised. It's fucking quarries, man. But here's the image itself. Let's fucking view the image a bit better, and we'll see here. Uh,
I also noticed, is the title just intended to mess with people with East Coast accents?
Probably.
Because Quarries to Carrara sounds. Oh man,
So I'm
that's a
screen
lot of
sharing for you.
vowels.
This so I don't.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
just in case. It's not to. Yeah, this is very detailed.
It has a. I like the oil painting style. I love how they did the marble itself. The colors are fascinating, and the palette, though limited, is really speaks to
Ooh,
you. Really stands out.
yeah. My favorite part is how like so these guys are like dots in the background, but like there's so much detail on them even still.
Yeah, there's a lot of expression. There's a lot of intention in their movement. It really comes across as very biographical about people who work in quarries, which is incredible for a painting.
Yeah. So we'll quickly just take a gander at Mr. John just to see what he was all about. Okay, he died in 1925. Not a surprise. Oh, he died at age 69. Very nice, very nice, very nice. um, so we'll go to the next one. I'll let you read this one.
Yes. Let's see. This is Pan is Dead, Still Life. Ooh, I like that title. Um, Pan is Dead is a 1911 still life painting by Australian artist George Washington Lambert. That's a strange name for an Australian man. The painting depicts a sculpted head of Pan besides white gloves and a face filled with white roses. Lambert created the bust of Pan as a part of a costume for a character he played in Tableau Vivant, The Awakening of Pan, created in 1909 by the wife of the artist Philip Conrad. Lambert constructed a conceit in which he played upon the difference between how things appear on the surface of the canvas and how they are in reality. He abrogated the difference between the solid bust of Pan and the bunch of fragile white roses in the glass vase beside it by making the sculptured curls in Pan's hair resemble roses and by using sharply defined edges to sculpt the flowers. The god Pan is said to be the personification of nature, while white roses symbolize truth, innocence, and spirituality. The white gloves were a symbol of good manners in the Edwardian era. The painting was first exhibited in London in 1911 under the title Pan is Dead. The title has been to suggest both that Pan has lost his liveliness by being cast into a still sculpture, as well as the possible defeat by Pan by both the innocence of the flowers and the rigid social mores of the Edwardian middle class. Whew, that's deep! The painting was acquired by the Art Gallery of South Wales in 1952 and remains as part of its collection.
Yep. they went a little too hard here, which makes me somewhere deep in my mind. I'm like, okay, in reality, the actual artist was like, oh no, man, it just means like snowflakes or some shit. Then I'm like, ah, yes, insert deeper meaning.
It's always hard with paintings, isn't it? Because you never know if you're scratching too deep or if you're just dealing with a genius.
Yeah, so let's get a little deeper in here with this bad boy.
Mm.
Ooh, ooh, yeah, this is very nice.
Yeah, no, I see what they're talking about with the roses and oh, it's so pretty. It is visually quite complex, which does kind of lend me towards thinking it might be as meaningfully complex, but I'm still not sold on that.
Yeah, it's just how it is sometimes. When it comes to art, it's very much how do you view it, I suppose, or
Yeah,
verse.
subjective.
Yeah. Um. So we can exit out of this one. Give me 1 second, because I closed out
Yeah.
a menu and we need that menu open.
Oh, I should say, do you like the painting?
Yeah, the painting was good. When it comes to these, I won't rate them as I would for other things we
Oh
do,
no,
because
it's all subjective.
yeah. So this is the portrait of Adele Bloch-Buer II. Um,
Mm.
it is a 1912 painting by Gustav Klimt, or Klimt. The work is a portrait of Adele Bloch-Buer, 1881 to 1925, a Vienna socialite who was a patron and close friend of Klimt. In 1907, Clement completed an earlier portrait of Bloch-Buer during World War II. Both portraits were among the artwork stolen by the Nazis from the family of Bloch-Buer. After the war, portrait of Adele Buer II was displayed at the Auschwitz Galerie Brazier until 2006, when it was returned to Adele Buer's niece, Maria Altman. That's a mouth fucking full.
Central European names are the bane of my existence.
One thing I'm very excited for is when we start covering. We'll do like a mini series of like all the destroyed art and all the like stolen art of like over time, because there's been a lot of things stolen. Looking at the British people, hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, yes. Take a look in the British Museum, and you will hear stories of, "Oh yes, we took this. No, it's not going back." But yes, there's a lot of art that is unfortunately just is gone.
Yeah, are you hearing my background?
Uh, a tiny bit, but it's fine. I can't make any of it out.
Cool, because there's some screamings.
Oh
So
no.
I know if you can't hear it too well, that means not the Discord, the OBS is gonna cancel that out immediately, which is perfect. Um, the best part about art, be it any form of art, a lot of it's gone. Which saying it's the best part is kind of asinine in a sense, but there's so much there. There's so much ideas, like not just for art, but books and all this other shit. Because there's tons of unfinished like things out there that you can actually like see and like okay, you can get the idea, but it will never ever be done because the creator is either dead or they just gave up, which is such a weird
There's
thing.
a story like that with Orson Welles' last film. He had gotten most of the way through making it, but never got it edited because he died.
Yeah. So I should cover next the next portion of this article, which is ownership. Adele Bloch-Buer was the wife of Ferdinand Bloch-Buer, a wealthy industrialist who sponsored the arts and supported Gustav Klimt. Adele Bloch-Buer was the only person whose portrait was painted twice by Klimt. She also appeared
Ah,
in a much more famous portrait of Adele Bloch-Buer I. Adele's portraits had hung in the family home prior to their seizure by the Nazis during World War II. The Austrian Museum, where they resided after the war, was reluctant to return them to their rightful owners. This is a little bit of a historical fun fact. Austrians are very like they rival the British people in terms of being resistant to returning damn things. The current government in Austria does not want to return the rightful Habsburg land back to the family. That all the actual like buildings are actually theirs, and they're like, no, we're not doing that. It's a whole shit show. Hence, a protracted court battle in the United States and Austria, see Republic of Austria versus Altman, ensued, which resulted in the two Adele Bloch-Buer portraits and the three other Gustav Klimt paintings being returned to Maria Altman. beneath a Fernand Bloch-Buer in 2006. In November
Wow.
2006, Christie Auctions House, under New York's chairman Stephen Lash, sold Portrait of Adele Bloch-Buer II at an auction for almost $88 million. Jesus.
Ooh.
The fourth highest priced piece of art at auction at the time. The buyer was Oprah Winfrey.
Oh. I didn't know Oprah was in the art world.
This is not the last time we'll be talking about Oprah. We'll get back to her one day.
I really hope I can avoid it if I can.
Oh, you won't be able to one day, because once we get to I believe, the 70s, she's gonna pop up, and then she's gonna make her lives a living hell.
She loves bread.
The painting was temporarily lent to the New Gallery, New York, for exhibition Clement and the Women of Vienna's Golden Age, 1900 to 1918, temporarily reuniting with Portrait 1. In the fall of 2014, Adele Bloch-Buer the second was given as a special long-term loan to the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. During the summer of 2016, Winfrey sold it to an unidentified Chinese buyer for $150 million.
Oh, Jesus.
Man, they tossing that damn thing around.
I
So,
suppose art always gains value.
yeah, I guess.
I'm
Actually,
gonna be honest, I understand the significance of this painting, but not paying 80 million for it, I can guarantee you that much.
I can kind of. So, the TV show American Dad actually explained it perfectly when it comes to art and human greed. They explain it perfectly, which is weird for a random trashy TV show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the character named Hideki had two pieces of pottery. They were both priceless. They could go for hundreds of millions of damn dollars. And he says, "Watch this." He destroys one of them. Every single person was like, "What? Why'd you do that?" Now there's only one in the world. It's worth even more now.
I hate that that's basically how it works.
Just imagine all the art pieces that had like a twin or a triplet, and they just both got destroyed or some shit. Just make one of them more valuable than the others.
Oh, that's pain.
So looking down a bit here, okay. Now,
And I do love how you got that from a ripoff of a terrible, trashy television show.
yeah, it's weird how some of these it's trash TV, but it can actually give you some actual good lessons sometime, which is always good. Hold on, it's cold as fuck in my room for some reason. I'm putting my shirt on. I will go here so you can read this off though.
Yes. You always give me the long ones. Man with a Pipe, also referred to as Portrait of an American Smoker, Portrait of an American Smoking, or American Man, is a painting by French Cubist artist Jean Metzinger. The work was reproduced on the cover of the catalog of the Exhibition of Cubist and Futurist Pictures, Boggs and Bull Department
Boggs?
Store, Pittsburgh. Boggs, sorry. Forming part of the show in 1913 that traveled to several U.S. cities: Milwaukee, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, New York, and Philadelphia. Pittsburgh. In 1914, a catalog was printed for the occasion of the Milwaukee leg of the show. 16th of April to 12th of May, titled Exhibition of Painting and Sculpture in the Modern Spirit, hosted by the Milwaukee Art Society. Artists represented included Lucille Swan, Amadeo de Souza Cardoso, Manere Dawson, Marcel Duchamp, Daquis Villion, Albert Gelzis, Fernand Leger, Gustave Miklos, Francis Picabia, and Henry Fitch Taylor. Metzinger's painting, titled Portrait of American Smoking, figured as number 101 in the catalog. And as much of the outcry that resulted from the Cubist work at the Armory Show in New York, Chicago, and Boston, this traveling exhibition created an uproar in other major U.S. cities. Though he did not exhibit his Cubist colleagues at the Armory Show in 1913, Metzinger, with this painting and others, contributed in 1913 to the integration of modern art into the United States. Man with a Pipe was gifted to the Princeton Art Center Gallery's Lawrence University by Howard Green. In 1956, American Man was requested for touring by the American Federation of Arts via the State Department. The work was sent to Sweden and subsequently shown throughout Western Europe. It was returned to the college in September 1957. The painting, shown here in black and white, half-tone photographic reproduction, has been missing since 1998, having disappeared in transit while on loan between the 27th of July and 2nd of August. Man with a Pipe is an oil painting on canvas with dimensions of 93.7 by 65.4 centimeters, or 36.5 and 25.75 inches, signed J.M. or J. Metzinger, lower right. The work represents a man sitting upon a table which is placed a mug of beer. The man, an American according to the title of the work, has his arms crossed and a pipe in his mouth. He wears a jacket and tie. To the right is a vase with a painting of a sailboat in front of a sun setting above. To the sitter's left can be seen half of a portrait in a round frame. While the man with a pipe is treated in an extreme form of cubism, the two works hanging on the wall behind the sitter are not cubist at all, albeit they are stylized. One represents a boat with setting or rising sun, the other a portrait in a semicircle, almost an echo of Man with a Pipe. Rather than simultaneously superimposing successive images on the to depict motion, Metzinger represents the subject at rest from multiple angles. The dynamic role is played by the artist rather than the subject. By moving around the subject, the artist captures several important features at once, such as the profile and frontal view. Because motion involves time, several intervals or moments are captured simultaneously, a process coined by Metzinger called simultaneity or multiplicity. Moods and expressions within each facet may be different, reflecting change over time. The result, according to Metzinger, is a more complete representation of the subject matter, or a total image, than would otherwise have resulted from one image taken at one instant. Each facet reveals something new and different about the subject, sutured together. These facets would form a more complete image than the otherwise static representation seen from one point of view, what Metzinger called a total image. In addition to the inequality of parts being granted a prime condition of Metzinger's cubism, there are two methods regarding the division of the canvas. Both methods, according to Metzinger and Glazes, are based on the relationship between color and form. According to the first, all the parts are connected by a rhythm convention, which is determined by one of them. This, its position on the canvas, matters little, gives the painting a center from which the gradations of color proceed, or towards which they tend, according to the maximum or minimum intensity resides there. According to the second method, in order that the spectator himself, free to establish unity, may apprehend all the elements in the order assigned to them by the creative intuition. The properties of each portion must be left independent, and the plastic continuum must be broken to thousands surprises of light and shade. Every inflection of form is accompanied by a modification of color, and every modification of color gives birth to form. Gene Metzinger and Alec Glazes, the Cubism.
I ain't a cap. I fell asleep like halfway through that shit. No,
I'm so sorry.
that's not you. It's just there's so much detail here. Do you want to read all this shit?
I think I get the idea.
Yeah. So this, you know what? Let's get into this first. Let's take a look at it. It's a shame that this is gone now because it got lost on transit.
I suppose I can see him from multiple angles.
Yeah, I feel like if you saw it in person, it'd be a bit different. This is probably not the best way of seeing this one.
I find Cubism so beautiful, but also so incredibly hard to comprehend.
Yeah, it dawned upon me as we were like doing this Bus Far. One thing there's actually a benefit to AI art that people are actually not thinking about. This is a great time to preserve all forms of art using AI. It can make a perfect rendition, like completely. It could do that using the feed the art piece into it, and it could do it. Just in case one day that for example, if we ever lose the damn the Mona Lisa, well, guess what? AI copy, baby.
I mean, it's good at copying things,
Yeah,
so
it's essentially the original, but not really.
obviously it wouldn't be ideal, but it'd be better than not having it at
It's
all.
better than losing it entirely. And with how there's of course there's of course innovations in how we for example there's the resin stuff with the how you can do with stuff like minis and shit like that.
Yeah,
I heard they were doing a thing with that, but involving clay. So imagine like doing that but with clay, and you could like make a rendition of like a lost like clay sculpture or some shit. That could be so cool for like preservation.
interesting.
Yeah,
Preservation is always something we have to think about here, considering how often it comes up, unfortunately.
yeah. This is a little random side tangent before we get into this because I realized we actually like we're going through this pretty fucking fast, and I think we're just done this episode pretty quickly actually. In fact, um, was
That's all good.
yeah, it gives us time to fuck around after this too, so I'm okay with that. Speaking of preservation, I went to a fusion website today, and it was like one of like the last fucking four. They're still online. It's offline now.
Oh,
I am so happy. I preserved every damn thing that was on there. Ugh.
it is sad how often that happens.
Yep. The soothsayers recomps whatever recompense whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, recompense, I think.
So this painting here was made in 1913 by the Italian painter Giorgio di Cherico. It is now in the Philadelphia Museum of Art as part of the permanent collection. It was accessioned in 1950 as one of the 1,000 items donated by the institution by Walter and Louise Arnsberg. Ooh, I like that. The piece was created in France through a process of squaring up, in which Cherico drew a version of the piece and divided it into 9 squares, and subsequently used this draft to quickly create the fleshed out painting. That's a very unique way of doing it. That sounds quicker too.
That's very interesting, and it does create these very surreal spaces.
Yep, subject matter. The piece depicts an empty city square, a recurring motif in the works by Chirico. It also features a locomotive in the background. Another recurring motif was also found in the transformed dream and the Gare Montparnasse. Oh, the melancholy of departure.
Mm.
The statue at the center of the painting is meant to represent Ardine, who was the daughter of Minos, king of Crete. I think she got beheaded. I might be wrong with that.
That is unfortunate.
She assisted Theseus in his escape from the labyrinth, but he later abandoned her on the island of Naxos. Like the locomotive in the empty square, Ardine appears in the other paintings by Chirico. Display history. The Soothsayer recompense is currently owned by the Philadelphia Museum of Art and was the first piece shown there in 1954. It originally hung in the home of the Arnsberg family, where it inspired Philip Gaston to become a painter. Since being a session, whatever, I can't be fucked. By its current owner, it has been shown elsewhere, including twice at the Stock Collection of Modern Italian Art in 2003 and again in 2014 at the Institute of Contemporary Art in 2007. This ain't more here for now. Can trip me out sometimes.
Fair.
It was yeah. Let's take a gander at this. I love trains.
We know.
Oh yeah, this is very nice. I actually love the squares thing.
There's a lot of details on the little things like the clock. I don't. What time is it? Say on the clock.
This is a tiny hand.
Yeah, 2:45,
Around that, yeah.
50. Yeah,
There's a locomotive. I can't tell what it is though.
looks like a smog cloud from a factory.
So looking kind of carefully at certain areas, like right here, you can tell that this is a square. Probably like right here.
Yeah. Oh, you can almost see the outline of the 9 squares.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
just
interesting.
yeah, it's very small. You can't really tell unless you stare nice and close at certain areas. Like over here, you can't see it because it's too damn dark. But over here, it's a lot more easy to see the lines.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I like this. This is very well done.
Yeah.
All right. This is where you can read the Berlin street scene.
Yes. Berlin Street Scene is a 1913 paper from the cycle Street Scenes by the German expressionist artist Ernst Ludwig Kirchner, sorry. Um, the cycle created by Kirchner between 1913 and 1915 often depicts prostitutes with their clients and is regarded as one of the most important works of German expressionism. That is saying a lot. In the
Hose.
painting foreground, two prostitutes are seen wearing very colorful clothing with elaborate lace collars and high fashion hats. Two clients are depicted. One is facing the viewer, one is facing the prostitutes. The model for the clients was probably the artist's friend Otto Müller, but it is possible that Kirchner depicted himself as the model. The models for the two prostitutes are the sisters Erna and Gerard Schilling. In the background is a busy street. On the street are a horse carriage and a sign of the tram line 15, a horse car that ran through central Berlin. The women look at the two men provocatively. One of the men is giving them his attention, and the other is looking away. The cropped representation of the two men creates the impression of a momentary capture.
Mm.
In the painting, influences of Italian Futurism can be found through the hasty dynamic of the work. The angular language of form is borrowed from Cubism. Kirchner often depicted the prostitutes and their relationship to their clients. This was not meant as social criticism, but rather an attempt to depict the idea of a new independent type of woman, Kirchner noted, aka he wanted more money for hookers. The street scenes developed in the years from 1911 to 1914. It was one of the loneliest times of my life, in which I wandered through the long streets full of people and wagons through day and night in agonizing unrest. Restitution. In 2006, Anita Halpin, the granddaughter of the Jewish art collector Alfred Hess, demanded the restitution of the painting, which had previously been exhibited in the Bruck Museum in Berlin. The city granted the restitution after that the painting was sold by the auction house Christie's for 30 million euros to the art collectors Ronald Lauder and Serge Sabarsky. Then it became part of the inventory of the New Gallery in New York. The restitution was based on the Washington Declaration from 1998, in which Germany said it would return the paintings that were confiscated during the Nazi era to the heirs of their victims. The public reaction to the restitution was very negative. It was questioned on whether the widow of Alfred Hess had been forced to sell the painting. Her family had gotten into financial troubles in 1929 after the world economic crisis, and she could therefore have sold the painting for financial reasons. However, the circumstances of the selling of the painting are unclear. The painting was transferred to the Cologne Art Association in 1936, and there sold to the art collector Karl Hagemann under unclear circumstances. Many people still question whether the Washington Declaration was applicable in this case. It was doubted that the sale was connected to the persecution of Jews. Furthermore, the Washington Declaration wasn't legally binding, therefore it wasn't necessary to restore the painting for legal reasons. Several complaints were filed against the politicians from Berlin that had been involved in the restitution. The attorney's office, however, refused to file charges, which is why there were no convictions. Supporters of the Bruck Museum still demand that the painting be returned to them.
I'm sorry, that's so silly. It's quite clear that the whole fucking statuette does not fucking apply. It was before the Nazis even took fucking power. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's silly.
It does seem a little strange.
And if we're talking about the persecution of Jews and that being the reason instead, then every single art piece that was ever taken before it has to be returned right now. Like literally, there's so much art that was taken from them before that. But they won't do it because it's a slippery fucking road. It's silly to even use that. I mean, whatever. I can't be fucked. Oh, look, it's Erna. Oh, wait, probably. Yes, she should take out that actual piece.
Yes. I like it. It's kind of crude, but it's very stylistic. I feel like I'd see this in a hotel somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is drippy.
Very drippy. I quite like it.
I like it too.
It's stylish, I think is a good word.
This is one of the females that were used as Erna Schilling. They even give her little own art piece here.
Oh, hell yeah.
I like the fact there's no actual thing on her, so they had to have to use an art piece. The View of Notre Dame, lovely. The View of Notre Dame is an oil painting by Henri Matisse from 1914. It is held in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. Ooh, lovely. Experimental period.
Oh,
Along with works such as Woman on a High School, it belongs to the experimental period of Matisse of yore. Pentimenti reveal that it was originally painted in a more detailed manner before it was rapidly simplified into a geometric composition. I'm gonna be real. I feel like the original would have been better than the geometric one. That's just me though.
yeah.
Exhibition. It was not exhibited until after Matisse's death, but proved a great influence upon later moments in painting. I mean, it at least had an influence on shit, I guess. Specifically, it is
Yeah.
said to considerably influence American artists who developed new modern and abstract styles, i.e., color field and expressionism, such as Richard Diebenkorn. That's Diebenkorn. Good lord, that's the damn name.
Mr. Diamondcorn, I wish to speak to you.
Like, look at this shit. What the fuck?
I get it, right? The shapes it manifests things, but it is a strange
This is
piece.
some shit I would have made back in kindergarten.
Okay, it's got some complexity. There's a room in there.
Kindergarten.
I suppose we have two different tastes in art, which is
Yeah,
relevant.
yeah. This is kindergarten. This is kindergarten cipher shit right here. All right.
You missed your calling in that case.
Oh yeah. Considering how art's today, yeah, I can make tying a damn banana up. Oh yes, throwing shit at a damn wall. Yeah, I missed my fucking calling. This has been easy money.
But then you would have had to go to art school and listen to art teachers.
Most people did not go to art school, Oz. Most people that made that shit did not go to art school.
Really?
They did not. I checked serious guys. They did not. There was this dude in their damn
Oh.
garage making that shit.
Oh, so it sounds like a scam.
Yeah, and it sold for millions upon millions of dollars. Homage
Oh,
to
dang.
Blériot is all you.
Homage to Blériot? How do you... Is it Blériot?
Blériot.
French. Yeah, Blériot. Is a tempera on canvas painting by French painter Robert Delaunay from 1914. It is held at the Kunstmuseum Basel. Another version of the same painting is held at the Museum of Grenoble. These paintings belong to the series Discs. This canvas celebrates the French aviation pioneer and constructor Louis Blériot in a typical simultaneous composition by notably representing symbols of progress, namely a biplane seen flying above the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Oh, that's what that's supposed to be. At the right and a propeller at the left. However, the inscription below the canvas reads, First simultaneous solar discs form to the great constructor Blériot, suggesting that the painting is dedicated to Blériot as the constructor and not as the pilot of the plane. The composition is filled with the typical Orphic, colorful solar discs and geometric shapes, with influences from Neo-Impressionism, Cubism, and Futurism. The discs were inspired by the color theory of French chemist Michael Eugene Chevreul and the concept of simultaneous contrasts of colors. Delaunay described the work of the following way. Blériot 1914, a simultaneous solar disk, creation of a constructive disk, solar fireworks, depth and life of the sun, constructive mobility of the solar spectrum, dawn, fire, the evolution of airplanes. Everything is roundness, sun, earth, horizons, intense plenitude of life, a poetry which one cannot render into language, the driving force in the picture, solar strength and strength of the earth.
You know, I'm about to ruin this piece of painting for you, Oz, because it cannot be rendered in a language. Google. Google. Look at this. You can see the Google symbol in here, right? Just me?
A little bit.
I see this and I think to myself, wow, there's some Google colors going on here. Here you go. There's your last little bit of reading.
Yes, apologies. Oh, a study for the final painting sold for $1.567 million at Christie's on the 16th of November 2016.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the painting. What do you think of it?
I think a very autistic man made this. That's what I think. I like it though.
It is It's very colorful, and I like the orbs. I feel as if it might have been better if it was a little more abstract, but I understand that fully abstract art is not as much of a thing yet.
I like this. This is very nice. There's a little windmill
Yeah.
going on here, I think.
Yeah. No, I thought that was the plane.
There's a plane over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it another plane?
It's mentioned a biplane. It's the biplane. You can tell by the shape.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea what that. Yeah, it might be a windmill then.
The Sock Knitter. The Sock Knitter is a 1915 painting by the Australian artist Grace Cussington Smith. The painting depicts a woman believed to be the artist's sister knitting a sock. It was the first work by Cussington Smith to be exhibited, and has been acclaimed as the first post-impressionist painting to be exhibited in Australia. The figure is pressed forward onto the picture plane, tightly constructed. Yeah. The creamy impasto paint, fuck's that? Of the
Excellent
backgrounds
kind of paint.
of the background hold the picture together. The sitter then holds the background together like a jigsaw. She is the pattern maker. There are echoing triangles everywhere. I can see it actually. Julia
Yeah.
Whitson. The work was included in the Follow the Flag exhibition at the National Gallery of Victoria. The 2015 exhibition material stated that the sock knitter has come to symbolize Australian women's contribution to the First World War effort, which included the knitting more than 1.3 million pairs of socks. The painting was acquired by the Art Gallery of New South Wales in 1960.
I see.
And this is actually one of the images we cannot download and try and oh guys, you want to buy this? You can't do that.
Fair.
But
It's a woman knitting socks.
yeah, it's nothing special, but I think it's cool for the symbolism.
Yeah.
This one I love a lot.
That blonde girl is chunky. Blonde Girl with a Rose, in French, Blonde à la Rose, is a late work period oil painting executed in 1915 through 1917 by Pierre Auguste Renoir and held in the collection of the Musée de l'Orangerie in Paris. The painting portrays Renoir?
Renoir.
I'm gonna go with Renoir. Last model, teenage Catherine Helsing, who featured in several of his paintings during his final few years. She went on to marry Renoir's second son, Jean, in 1920 and become a film actress. Okay.
Yep.
Renoir was struck by her flawless young skin and rendered her in soft tone, dominated by the color red. The flower in her hair had by this time become a trademark symbol of Renoir to symbolize beauty. The painting passed the artist's death in 1919 to his youngest son, Claude, who sold it to the art dealer Paul Guillaume in 1929, presumably for an unknown amount.
If they didn't say this is a blonde girl, I'd assume it was a damn redhead.
I think it's because the painting is a little red heavy.
Yeah. I think this is an extremely well done painting. It is.
Yeah.
It is damn near perfect. There's some areas where I would improve it, but that's just me. I'm being autistic about it right now.
It is very interesting that we're seeing realism become less and less of a thing.
Yep. But yeah, this is a really good piece. It is probably one of my favorite pieces that we had thus far. This is probably, it's Catherine's page. We can get her out of that. This is another one we cannot say, hey, you want to buy this type beat. This is Apollinaire Emerald. This is another one of those paintings where actually also an advert. It was painted in 1916 to 1917 by Marcel Duchamp as a heavily altered version of an advertisement for paint, simply on MNL. The picture depicts a girl painting a bed frame with white enameled paint. The depiction of the frame deliberately includes conflicting perspective lines to produce an impossible object, to emphasize the deliberate impossibility of the shape. A piece of the frame is missing. The piece is sometimes referred to as the chance impossible bed painting. Apollinaire is a play on words, representing the poet, writer, and the art critic Guillaume Apollinaire. Oh, this guy's gonna keep popping up, huh? A close associate of Duchamp. During the Cubist adventure, Apollinaire wrote about Duchamp and others in his book The Cubist Painters, Aesthetic Meditations of 1913. Ooh, the bed feels out of
Yeah.
place. It feels actually out of place. I don't like that.
It feels like it's in a different plane of existence.
Yeah, I was like, it's a backroom bed. Don't touch that bed, little girl. You'll get pulled to the back rooms. um,
Like the guy who's in a coma with his fake lamp.
so what do you think about this? Is this a good one? Is it bad? What are you thinking?
I mean, it's an advertisement, so obviously the purpose is a little different. It's not going to say anything particularly deep, other than buy our mattresses or bed frames.
My main complaint is that this is not centered.
It seems like a strange design decision. I thought it was intentional when I first saw this, but now I'm questioning why you would do that.
Next one is a complete and utter banger, yeah,
Oh, am I gonna have to read all of this?
I plead you not to read all this. I think you can read like I don't know. You can just choose to stop whenever you want to stop for real. It's Ippy and Gertie.
Okay. I have a feeling this article is going to be very repetitive. Ippy and Gertie posing at the fashion house Hirsch Amsterdam is a circa 1916 oil on canvas painting by Dutch artist Isaac Israels. It depicts twin sisters Helena and Gertruda, women. Oh my god. Models at the Amsterdam. Oh, they're Dutch, that's why. Amsterdam Fashion House in Hurst and C in the Leidseplein, whose professional names were Epi and Gertie, respectively. Respectively, not respectfully. Israels was introduced to the house by his childhood friend and portrait painter Therese Schwartzy. He went on to portray the whole range of the world of haute couture, both in Amsterdam and Paris. His treatment is realist rather than glamorous, portraying seamstresses as well as their wealthy clients. Perched and C in Amsterdam continued until 1943, when it was forced to close as part of the Nazi policy of disposing Jews of their property during the occupation of the Netherlands. It reopened in 1948 after the war and continued until 1976 when it finally closed its doors. The premises are now occupied by an Apple store. Why did we need that detail?
Imagine there's so much history and culture in one place, and now corporate elitism. Apple Store has arrived. This is the truly cyberpunk era.
It couldn't even have been a cool business. It had to be a fucking Apple store.
I'd like to, like, in a better world, it was like some random bike shop or some shit.
That'd be very Amsterdam, or filled with homeless people if you want to be really Amsterdam.
I think I read like half of this. Yeah, like up to here, and it's good enough. I'm not gonna make you read through all that.
Christie's lot notes for November 2012. For its 2012 November sale of this painting, observes that Isaac Israels is the painter of modern life in Finseel, Netherlands. Isaac was born the son of Joseph Israels, and the noted Hague school painter was revered by Vincent van Gogh. Following some early training at the Royal Academy of Art, The Hague, where he met George Hendrik Breitner. The two are credited as founding the so-called School of Amsterdam Impressionism. Isaac followed the examples of Johannes Bosboom and Van Gogh and spent time in Bornege, the Belgian mining district. Though Breitner sketched with Van Gogh in their student days at the Hague, Breitner was later dismissive of Vincent's Eskimo paintings, while Vincent in turn dismissed Breitner's efforts as moldy wallpaper. There is no record. Oh god, that's mean. There is no record of Israels ever meeting Van Gogh. He did, however, see a selection of Vincent's paintings at Theo van Gogh's art dealership while in Paris in 1889.
I'm sorry.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. This having your art compared to moldy. That's fucking
moldy wallpaper. That is a creative insult.
Oh man, he hit him hard. let's see here. This is I like this. Oh, I really like this.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really into impressionism, but I will admit there's a lot of talent here.
I like it. This guy was really trying here. Uh,
Can't deny you that.
oh yeah, this is hard. This is hard. I love this one. Descent from the Cross by Beckman. Descent from the Cross is an oil on canvas painting by the German artist Max Beckmann, who was executed in 1917. It is his. It is. It his. I'm sorry. What? Okay. No. No. Am I yeah. Yeah. I'm logged in. Hold on. I really need to fix this. I just really need to fix this.
Oh, that's a typo, isn't it?
Yeah. It is held at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. I just had to fix that. It was gonna piss me off. Yeah, I have an account on here. I sometimes do some edits. It's my thing. Beckman's harsh experience serving in the German army during World War One influenced his new approach to painting in the following years. His works from the period include several paintings with religious themes, such as Christ and the woman taken in adultery, in this Descent from the Cross, created both in 1917. The current painting is very different from the traditional representations of the same event. Beckmann was influenced for of his painting, and in particular by the work of the German Renaissance painters such as Matthias Grunwald and Hans Hobby. Excuse me. It's possible that that this work was created as a response to a challenge made by the German curator Gustav Hartmann, who wanted him to create something as powerful as the ancient German art. That's something. The composition, using several expressives and distorted figures, is dominated by the oversized corpse of Jesus. Jesus Christ.
It is quite large.
Which occupies the central place. Jesus' body shows signs of rigor mortis. It is pale and covered by bruises and sores. There are congealed blood pools around the stigma.
Oh god.
While his stretched arms are a remainder of a crucifixion. A darkened sun is seen at the upper left, while two women kneel at the lower right, reduced in size. Two men carry the corpse of Jesus from the cross, while their ladder extends outside the painting as if pointing towards heaven. So when I first looked at this, I was like, this is like a true hard metal album, like from Germany. And then I'm like, wait, hold on. This feels like some weird SCP story going wrong, or like some sort of like weird ARG or something.
This painting does feel kind of off. I understand what they were going for, don't get me wrong, but this is it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really digging it though, and I feel like somebody can make a whole story out of this. I'd applaud him for it.
I do. Obviously, I think he was probably going for creepy, given what's happening.
Yeah. Doesn't help he's also German. The creep factor does really zoom out there. It's okay, I'm German too.
One of the first horror movies was made in Germany, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yep. Here you go. Nice short one for you.
All right. Bella with White Collar. Bella with White Collar is a painting by Belarusian French artist Marc Chagall. Chagall? Wait, French.
Chagall.
So Chagall.
Oh.
Yeah. In 1917, it is a portrait of Bella Rosenfield Chagall, Chagall's wife at the time. I might be pronouncing this wrong. Please point it out in the comments. Tell me how I'm supposed to say it. The two teeny figures at the bottom are thought to represent the artist and the couple's daughter, Ida. The painting is currently kept at the Musée National d'Art Moderne in Paris. And this is, like, probably not very expressive, but, like, goddamn is it well made.
Yeah. Oh, look at those little two figures here.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really creative.
Yeah, it's really well put together.
This one is The Dying Dandy. The Dying Dandy, or in Swedish, I'm not pronouncing that, is a painting by Nils Dardell, painted in 1918. And today it is the part of the collection of the Mardina Museet in Stockholm. The work is characterized by Nils Dardell's use of intense colors and undulating forms. It is considered symbolic of superficial beauty. The form shows the influence of Matisse, though situated like any deathbed portrait. The dying man is not looking piously towards the heavens, but into a mirror, while surrounded by mourners. A man crying to a handkerchief behind him is looking away, while three women attend to the body. The meaning of the blackened mirror is ambiguous. The title seems to suggest that the dying man's last fault was up for his appearance, and possibly meant it's a parody of the deathbed portrait as a genre. And in an earlier version, the dandy holds a fan and his eyes are completely closed. Dordell was no stranger to this genre and held earlier uh, painted in his funeral in Sinless, which shows the elaborate the Catholic could be at the time. Oh, good lord. Province. In 1984, that's a good book. We're going to get to that. The painting was sold as one of Sweden's most valued works of art and generated much publicity. The high price paid by financier Frederick Roos at the time had been seen as good lord, can I pronounce that word? Symptomatic of a capitalist market. There we go.
Symptomatic.
The price paid was 3.4 million kroner and was a record high for a Swedish art. 4 years later, in 1988, Rose sold a painting for 13 million kroner, which was again considered to be very high, to financier Hans Fulin. The painting then ended up in the possession of financier Thomas Fisher, after Fulin went to bankruptcy in 1991. Today is owned by Bernardo Musset. On April 4, 2007, a smaller version of a painting in watercolor was sold for 3.25 million crowns to a Swedish collector via crowns, mean kroner, right?
Yeah.
Via auction from Kowalski. Dordell's work Vattenfallet, the waterfall, sold for 25 million kroner in 2012. It was to date the most expensive modernist Swedish painting ever sold. I'm looking this up. If crowns is actually proper. If not, I'm going to change it because I can. Okay, so kroner. Whoever did this is dumb.
Look at you being educated and shit.
Yeah, it's just a matter of principle. It's pissing me off. So about to the actual art piece.
Yes.
I love this art piece.
Yeah. I dig it. The meaning is easy to interpret. I don't have to have a degree in art to be able to understand what this is about.
Yeah, this is great. This is actually great. Wow.
I really dig it.
The dying dandy man. It's time for Alice.
I think it portrays its message very well, and it's not preachy. Oh God, Alice.
So that painting, what we were looking at, it basically is exactly what it says on the DM10, a dying dandy,
Yeah.
and then dying dandy.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Alice is a 1918 oil and canvas painting by Amadeo Modigliani. It now hangs in the National Gallery of Denmark. That's why I can't say his name. In Copenhagen, to which it was donated in 1928. Modigliani painted more than 300 portraits between 1915 and 1920. Oh my God. Alice is a portrait of a young girl seated, dressed in blue, in a blue Sunday dress with a gold cross upon her chest. She looks directly at the viewer with her large almond-shaped eyes. Her brown hair frames her face and falls onto her dress. The girl's face is stylized with an African mask. The canvas is simple on a colored leaf. Since the color scheme varies from nuances of blue to terracotta, creating a contrast that gives life to the painting without disturbing the overall impression of a classical silence and harmony. Modigliani favored elongated vertical forms, which he can clearly be seen in the sculptures before World War I. And in several of his portraits, like the portraits of Alice, her head is egg-shaped and her neck does not have a cylinder-like form. The elongated silhouette of the girl is further emphasized by the vertical size of the canvas. The non-classical ideal of proportions is based on the works of Mannerist painter Parmigianino, and in masters of the Italian Renaissance, such as Sandro Botticelli. Not into it. It's a little creepy, if I'm being honest.
I dig it. It's just that her neck is a little longer than I expected.
Giraffe woman. Yeah, not my thing.
Spring Frost. Spring Frost is a 1919 painting by the Australian artist Elif Gruner. The painting depicts a small herd of dairy cows in the early morning. Gruner's most well-known painting, Spring Frost, was awarded the Wynne Prize in 1919. Spring Frost was largely painted in plein air at Emu Plains,
Ah,
now an outer western suburb of Sydney, but then a rural area, on of a farm built by Isaac Inness and inherited by his son Jim Inness. It is Jim Inness, in this painting with his cattle. Elif Gruner, 1916's painting Morning Light, also shows his farm. To compose the painting, Gruner built a small structure on site to protect the canvas and to avoid frostbite. He wrapped his legs with chaff bags. A 2002 article on the painting argues that the work is more sensual than realistic. Really? It feels more realistic than anything. There,
art nerds being art nerds.
there is a sense in this. There is a sense in this startlingly, good lord, and surprising complex picture of a mature artist who is also at once a willful child. Good lord, one to gaze directly at the sun, to reveal and roll in the sun, to be exposed to and by the sun. Good fucking, it's not that damn deep. In the passages,
Everything's got to be deep.
where he paints its pure light, for example, in the sky, shrub edges, and the dew-wet grass, Gruner surrenders to the sensual, if potentially destructive instinct. In so doing, he creates a work which is actually far less realistic than we think. Less individual too. Sydney Morning Herald milking works for a moment in the sun. It is literally not that fucking deep. It's just some cattle and a dude. That's it.
It's a very pretty painting of a cattleman dude.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. It's really well done. It feels like some shit you would. That's a weird comparison. It feels like a piece of art you would see in the Skyrim or some one of the Elder Scrolls games. Just vibing somewhere.
I feel like I'd find this in like an old person's house who's like country core,
Yep.
listens to Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. Look, something easy for you, Oz.
Oh boy, I should have never complained. Red and Orange Shrink is a shrink. Tree. Fuck. Is a 1919 painting by George O'Keefe. I think that's how you say his name. She painted it in Georgia. She painted it in New York after arriving there from Texas. In a letter to a friend, O'Keefe wrote, "The whole thing lit up, first in one place, then another with flashes of lightning, sometimes just sheet lightning, and sometimes sheet lightning with sharp, bright zigzag flashing across. I sat on the fence for a long time, just looking at lightning." What? I really like this piece. I just don't know what the fuck is going on in it. It's pretty.
I see what she means though. It feels like a piece of art you could just stare at for hours on end. It feels like literal lightning, I suppose.
It's very esoteric, which I like. I like art that kind of is hard to decipher.
I like how there's like a dust cloud going on here. Like it's like rising from the ashes or some shit.
Oh my god, that changes the shape. So it's not just like a ring. It's like, oh, that's just the lip of whatever this is. Okay,
Yep.
I
So,
dig it.
oh my lord, Sergeant of the Light Horse.
Mm.
A Sergeant of the Light Horse is a 1920 painting by the Australian artist George Washington Lambert. The portrait depicts an Australian soldier in Palestine during World War One. Okay, we've seen Lambert like 3 times already in this, and I'm his artwork has been pretty damn good thus fucking far.
He has a very unique style that I really like.
The National Gallery of Victoria states that the work is recognized as an image that captured the spirit of and character of the Australian soldier, who got his ass kicked by a bunch of emus. Yep.
Hey, don't be mean.
The only nation so hold on. The only nation that still gets clowned on for losing a war against a whole other species. Thanks for bringing us all
That's
down.
fair.
Subject. The sitter for the portrait was Thomas Henry Harry Ivers, a sergeant with the 1st Signal Squadron of the Australian Light Horse. Lambert met Evers a map maker in Damascus in 1919, and later Ivers was granted permission to assist Lambert in London. The portrait was painted in Lambert's studio in Kensington, London. It is thought that the sitter's face was actually that of William Ewart Archibald MacLeod. And the portrait is a composite of him and Thomas Ivers. Both men knew George Lambert. Composition. When composing the work, Lambert deliberately set out created a new model for the military portrait, eschewing the heroic and dashing soldier on horseback. The painting was intended to represent the typical Australian light horseman, mainly men from the farms, dairies, and orchards from rural Australia. I mean, it makes sense. There's well, I mean, don't be wrong. Of course, there's like at this time there was like nobles in Australia, but they weren't out going to war anymore. That era's over.
Yeah, that's a very Victorian thing.
Yeah, war correspondent H.S. Gillett wrote of the Australian light horseman. So far as distinctive type has been evolved, it is young men, long of limb and feature, spare of flesh, and easy, almost tired in bearing. He bears himself modestly. Good lord. A felt slouch hat, a shirt with sleeves rolled to the elbows, long trousers. Okay. Reviewing the painting for an exhibition, Lambert's works in 2007, the National Gallery of Australia noted that Lambert gave the servicemen a sensuousness through his sharp, focused rendering of flesh in a muscular. In a way, he portrayed the taut neck and weary arms. Hans Hessen observed the feeling away of the eyes had been painted, and the expression of that sensitiveness around the mouth are truly wonderful. That's a weird thing to note.
Yeah, art nerds. I think that's what I've learned today. Is I don't like art nerds.
The portrait palette and the other features, such as the downward look and slender neck, were influenced by the artist's appreciation of the work of Basile. History. The portrait was purchased for the National Gallery of Victoria from Felton Bequest in 1921, on the advice of its director, Bernard Hall. The painting remains part of the National Gallery of Victoria's art collection. It was the part of the National Gallery of Victoria's Follow the Flag exhibition in 2015, marking the centenary of Anzac Day. The painting appeared on a stamp in 1974. And last one, all for you.
Oh boy. Oh, I love this painting. City of Workers, also translated as Working Class City, is a 1920 oil painting on canvas completed by Berlin's secessionist painter Hans Baluschek. The 40 or the 120. Oh no, this is in inches. Okay, 48.44 by 36.25 inch work is held at the Milwaukee Art Museum. This oil painting on canvas measures. Yeah, you already said that. It depicts a dark and dirty working class sector of German capital Berlin, in which industrial smoke dominates the skyline and the few lights of windows are drowned in the gloom. The workers' homes are concentrated in the background, while the foreground is dominated by train tracks and the white backlight of the railway signal. The lower left corner, standing on the train car, is a dark and mysterious figure, shown in such little detail to almost be a silhouette. Wearing a coat and a hat, it's back to the viewer. The figure appears to be looking over the city with its oppressive tight spaces. Hans Baluschek, the son of a railway engineer who had been active in the arts since, completed City of Workers in 1920, 2 years after Germany's defeat in World War I. I can do math. A member of the Berlin Secession, Baluschek used an emotional technique similar to German expressionists in his work, but remained influenced by realist subject matter. The cityscapes, with contradictory beauty and despair, was a common subject of his. Catherine Sawinski, assistant curator of the European art at the Milwaukee Art Museum, described City of Workers as a powerful critique of what political and social issues can do to ordinary citizens. One in which depicts Berlin as a menacing and dehumanizing force. Baluschek was a proponent for workers' rights and a member of the Social Democratic Party. City of Workers was once owned by Prince Wilhelm Victor of Prussia. Later owners included Schim van der Leof of Rotterdam and, in 1939, P. Adolf of The Hague. Hague? In 2006, the painting, expected to bring 15 to 20,000 euros, was sold at Sotheby's at Amsterdam for 114,000 euros, or $151,000, to an American private collector. This was a record for Bulashek work. The painting was purchased by the Milwaukee Art Museum in October 2010 with funds from Avis Martin Heller. The painting, with the Ascension number M2010.49, was displayed in the museum's Gallery 12 in September 2011, together with other works of German Expressionism, but in 2014 was no longer on display.
I only have one question. Why didn't you just say this M2010?
Why do I need its code?
This
Yeah,
is
that's strange.
this is perfect.
I love this painting. I think, if I'm being real with you, I think this might be my favorite painting of the night.
Yeah, I have to hard agree here. It really is going off that oppressive vibe of Berlin. Berlin is a very oppressive looking city.
Yeah, I assume especially right after World War One.
Almost definitely. Mm. Mm.
Uh, yeah, I really like um, where this, like, a lot, everything about this. This is really well put together. There's so many little things that add to this atmosphere.
It feels almost like real life. Almost. Of course, it's a painting, but still, like, it gets the tracks perfect. It feels like there's like two kids down here just like vibing and shit. It's just this creepy guy just overlooking shit.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I would like a print of this one day, even though it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it's just a real cool fucking vibe. It's how it is with some of the paintings, man.
Yeah.
So we have reached a very rare point in our time where we have zoomed through content. We're only an hour and 6 minutes in. So that's that there. This has been a very intriguing journey through the arts. I'm very excited for the next time we do
Yeah.
this because the art will
Yeah.
get more spook.
Yes. I think it's also uh important to think about, like, how much art has already changed in this decade versus when we last did art. Um we didn't see as many expressionist paintings. I even checked through our list on Wikipedia, and there was a lot more cubism. And the thing that we have to mention that we can't directly cover, there was a lot of nudity.
Yeah, nudity is a very popular topic in art.
Which is fine,
Yeah,
but we
it's
can't show it.
yeah. In some cases, we can show it. It's just a matter of how much are they really doing here.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of these were realist.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. One day we're gonna go on Kick or some shit and cover some real hardcore shit.
Please no. How about we don't do that?
I'm just saying these kind of platforms are limiting human creativity. I'm just
Is
saying
it?
it is. If I cannot show random pieces of art of showing ancient nude women, then clearly they are all prudes. It's not going to follow children coming in platform. Guess what? I can enable 18 plus fucking functions. Why can't I do it with this shit? You're all lazy anyway. It's principles.
Fair enough. Uh, but yes, what did you think of the art of this period?
It's good. It was some really solid pieces. I don't care for cubism. It's kind of boring to me.
I like cubism personally.
Yeah, it's just I'm over here like it's not my style.
So that's fair. Like we said, it's all subjective. So, I mean, I never really are upset if you like something that I don't, and vice versa. But especially here, I have it's whatever.
So,
I didn't think I'd like cubism, but the more I look at it, the more it's strange, but it has some beauty to it.
yep. So I'm
You can tell the
a
people who are making it were doing a lot of drugs though.
true. So next time, let us see our list of contents because we
Yes.
have a very fun way of doing things. And next time we are going to be doing well, once we get to it with games and magazines, we're doing something different. So our most recent video was on magazines. Before that was our actual regular stuff. So I believe
Yeah.
our next piece of content, because we're not done with the 1930s, will be in another gaming video because the people of this decade we can't do it yet because we're not done with the decade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless
So
we, I think the next time we can either do something completely and utterly new or games.
yeah. And there is some interesting games. I'm either thinking that we're going to cover some Chinese board games or some kind of Scandinavian things.
Yeah.
Um,
So one,
what do you think would be more fun?
I won't lie. I kind of dig the idea of hopping into the Chinese stuff just to see it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not something that gets covered enough.
Yeah, and the best part here is, so as I said before, we're doing something different. So when it comes to gamings and magazines now, I will be chopping up the videos. So, or rather, so we will start a stream or start a good video, and we're like, hey guys, blah blah blah. This is this game. We're gonna go off the rules. We'll play the damn game, end the video, and go to the next game. And it basically we'll have a nice stockpile of games or magazines.
Yeah.
So, more videos, more content, and also it's shorter. It's fucking nice and short. So people with like the low attention span can actually watch it without. Oh, it's an hour long. Oh, that's way too much.
Also, for people who don't have 2 hours to give to two random people on the internet.
Yeah, low attention people. So, with that out of the way, this has been a good episode. Next time
Yeah.
we will have some more good content. If you want to do social media stuff, you can. Toodles.
Totals.